Hello, my name is Rotator Conex, also known as Matthew. Both names are spelled out in my username section below this video. Welcome to a series of videos where I debug / show off features in Pokemon Entropy. This, as you can see, is an engine beta. What I mean by this is that none of the maps, none of the story, none of the levels from the final game are in this code. What this is my features plopped onto the default maps from Pokemon Essentials, which, from what I understand, are based on Fire Red and Leaf Green, but a lot more condensed. We are still sitting on the title screen. This title screen is the one from Generation 4 and is Mega Mewtwo X themed. I have an interesting story when it comes to the title screen. A couple years ago, when Luca SJ uploaded this long bit of code, which allowed people to choose which generation they wanted their title screen to look like. They could then define which Pokemon they wanted to show. They could then define, everything like that. And I downloaded this code because he made it public domain. I downloaded this code and I started looking at all of the possible title screens, deciding which one I wanted. The Generation 5 title screen involves creating a Pokemon to display on screen. To show the character model. Turns out, it literally creates a Pokemon. And it was crashing because it wasn't creating a Pokemon perfectly the way my code needed it to, because I'd added things to a Pokemon that a Pokemon needed to survive, to determine whether or not the Pokemon was Delta or, Shiny or whatnot. So I went into the code just because I wanted to see what the Generation 5 title screen was going to look like. I went into the code, figured out what the issue was, fixed the issue, and then looked at the Generation 5 title screen and was like, okay, that's cool. That's probably the best one yet. I went into Generation 6 and I'm like, okay, I'm using this one. But then I had this thought, I didn't want all the work that I put into making the Generation 5 title screen to work. I didn't want to put all of that to waste. And then I realized one of the features of my game, there's literally a move that pulls this feature off, is generation battles. There are a lot of fan games that will go back to the days of Generation 1 when it comes to game mechanics. Or, back to the days of Generation 3. But never has a single fan game gone into every single possible generation. I have gone in and I've coded every possible generation. Not all the mechanics work perfectly. Generation 1, you still have IVs and EVs, not the DVs and IVs that Generation 1 had. So it's not a perfect recreation, and I don't plan to make it a perfect recreation because there are limits to the code. Anywho, so I came to that realization. I'm like, why not make the title screen reflect this by making the title screen randomly choose between all of the possible generations? That way I can have the Generation 6 title screen that I like, but I can also keep all of that hard work that I put into making the Generation 5 title screen work. So there are 44 possible title screens. The game will choose, or each generation from 1 to 6 has 6 possible title screens. 2 for Mega Mewtwo X, 2 for Mega Mewtwo Y, and 2 for regular Mewtwo. This is a Mega Mewtwo X title screen, as you can see by the fact that he is the one on the far left. The regular Mewtwo title screens, there's one pink one and one blue one. The pink ones are considered Mega Mewtwo X, and the blue ones are considered Mega Mewtwo Y. So, that's 6 times 6, that's 36. However, Generation 5 has twice as many as all the other generations because the game will also randomly decide which direction Mewtwo is facing. So that's another 6, bringing us to 42. On top of all the ones that we have now, there is a 7th, less likely, quote-unquote, generation, which shows the Essential Style title screen. The title screen as it was before Luca SJ did his whole title screen mechanic. That brings us to a total of 44 because there is a regular facing version and a backwards facing version. Again, the one that's on the far left determines whether or not it's considered a Mega Mewtwo X or Mega Mewtwo Y title screen. Now, why is it important whether or not it's a Mega Mewtwo X or a Mega Mewtwo Y title screen? There is a character in the game, and I'm not going to tell you whether or not they're friend or foe, that has a Mewtwo. And there's a certain plot in the game, a point in the game, where the Mewtwo will Mega Evolve. Whether or not they Mega Evolve to X or Y is determined by the title screen that you have seen most recently. At that point in the game, it will then store which version they were. Now, I would go on and start showing off other features, but I've apparently been talking literally about the title screen for 8 minutes. So, I will see you guys on the next